include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to what seems to be a very beautiful chilled morning all the way over here from the African bush from Djuma Game Reserve in the Greater Kruger Park. My name is Ali. On camera with me I've got Seb, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
We are looking at some beautiful impala that are not too far from the dam cam, and I know some of you guys, thank you very much for sending the comments through. Apparently there was a pack of wild dogs that was seen not too long ago, so it seems that they're definitely not around here. Normally impala wouldn't be as happy to be in one spot like they are now if, you know, a potential predator was running around. So it seems like hopefully will be quite an exciting morning. We've got tracks for everything. We can go and follow up on where Tingana was seen last night. You know, we will be looking for the lions and the wild dogs. So quite an interesting morning. Hopefully we're going to be headed into. But in the meantime, let's go back to basics and enjoy just a pretty view of some of this beautiful impala. We're gonna carry on driving along, see if perhaps we can make our way to the southern part of the property. My name is Ali, and I've got Seb on camera with me this morning, and we are going to try and bring to you as many possible animals as we see. Like I said, we've had quite an exciting few days, lots of things happening, and I think that's probably one of the beauties of the change of season. I think all of the animals are still trying to adapt to how cold it's getting, the lack of food, and then just moving around and starting to move a little bit more. Let's see. Beautiful start of the morning, very exciting. It's always good to wake up and, you know, just have a bit quick shot of adrenaline. I think that probably works better than the big cup of coffee that I drink every morning. Bye-bye. And we'll see maybe what's going on around here. Oop. Right, so funny enough, as it happens, it does seem like everything is happening in the south. I always laugh at the fact that all of the action seems to be focused on just one particular area. We're going to carry on, see if perhaps we can give everybody else a hand, but in the meantime, let's go over to a very excited Taylor.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to another sunrise safari. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Senzo, and he is being bounced around on the back of Rusty. Obviously, if you watch the pre-show, we're trying to find wild dogs, and we have just had all these go-away birds alarm calling. I've still got their tracks, so they could be around here somewhere. But remember, this is a live and interactive safari, so if you have any questions for us, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Oh, they've got those tracks there, so we're just trying to figure out where they're going. I'm pretty sure these dogs have actually crossed out though. I just want to confirm their tracks are all the way down here at Twin Dam, so I'm so sorry if I seem distracted, but I'm the good kind of distracted today. Now, there were also some hyena tracks. I don't have these footprints anymore. Let's quickly go up onto the dam wall and have a check that boundary. I think that's going to be very important that we check the boundary just to see if they have crossed out already, because if they have crossed out, there's no point us chasing after them anymore, especially if they've gone into an area that we can't drive onto. So I want to confirm very, very quickly. Now Herbie is also out and about. He's helping us find animals this morning, which is very exciting because he's one of the best trackers that I know. So I have no doubt he's going to help us. Confirm Lutu, or do you have? Copy, Herbie. I think I picked up on some more. I didn't stop to look though. It looked like their tracks just a little bit further down from where I was. I'm here at Twin Dams now. I'm just going to check the boundary. Maybe they've already crossed out. So I'm just chatting on the Game Drive radio in case you're wondering who on earth I'm talking to. So I was chatting to Herbert. He was just saying that he's in the drainage line and he hasn't got any tracks his side just yet. So I think they popped back out. I think they were in the drainage line at one point because the go-away birds were going crazy, shouting, alarming. But let's just check here very carefully to see if there are any tracks crossing out. Let's have a look here. Nothing just yet. I might have to also check a little bit further. Let me check behind me. Imagine they were just running straight past me and I didn't even see them. We'll just go to the edge of the Mulwati. And then we're going to turn around and go back towards Shibamu Road. And just to have a very quick look. Hang on, let's see. Whose footprint is this? No, just a civet walking around. Okay, I haven't seen anything too obvious. Now, hyena tracks and wild dogs tracks, if you're sort of a new track, it can be very, very difficult to tell apart. But wild dog tracks are a lot more slender. Okay, here's Herbie. There he is. A man you have not seen for quite some time. But hi Herbie. Say hello to everyone. The big pretty one that you all love so much. Herbie's missing all of you, but go all the way up. Okay. You seen any more tracks coming past, but I'm pretty sure I had them. You know where that road that comes on the other side of the dam wall that meets Twin Dams? I had tracks at that junction, and then I don't know where they went. They didn't come down this way, and I haven't seen them cross here yet. So I'll go check that side. Right, should we do this? Okay, cool, perfect. There we go. Working out a team plan here, and that's so important. You can go first, Toby. Very, very important that, of course, we have a plan and we're able to find these dogs. So Herbie, I don't know if you heard him, he said he's going to check the fire break. We're going to go and check Weaver's Nest. And I think Ali's on the search for here's Herbie. He's indicating. Now he's using his flicker, or some of you, we use the word indicated in South Africa for the flicker. He was and we're in the bush. I find that very sweet. Very, very sweet indeed. Okay, so there we go. We're deploying our team. We're going this way. Herbie's going to run across here. Another spot we might have to check is actually go back towards Treehouse Dam, because there have been known, these three particular dogs, to actually cut across and go straight sort of back west again. So that's going to be our next move from Weaver's Nest, I think, if we don't pick up any tracks here. So I'm just going to dangle my head off of the side of the car very quickly, and concentrate just down here on the sand, because like I said, we don't want to be chasing after ghosts unnecessarily. Otherwise we'd rather go and look for something else if we know the dogs have moved off the property, like all the lion tracks that have been seen around Treehouse Dam. Okay, nothing so far. Those look like dog tracks, but they don't look fresh. Those don't look fresh at all. I'll just tell Herbie here. And it only looks like one set of tracks too. They weren't fresh like the tracks we had earlier. So they could have also been running around here maybe last night. Moving around, like I said, it's almost full moon. So you can walk around at the moment outside without a torch. Absolutely no problem. Now you can imagine the animal's eyesight is much better than what ours is. So it'd be like just walking around during daytime for some of these animals. and particularly the predators, which have got specially adapted eyes to see at night too. So I'm going to make it very, very easy for them. Just quadruple check. Looks like there's been a couple of vehicles driving here, whether they've been... Ooh. Okay, so Herbie's just said he's got young female leopard tracks, which must be Shongile's tracks, on this fire break. So let's keep an eye here, keep an eye out. Sure, the radio is busy today. Okay, up Weaver's Nest we go. Now Gail, you're wondering as we drive along and about, and I'm just quadruple checking, making sure. Actually, let's listen. I just want to see if I can hear anything. Maybe some impala. Sorry Gail, I'll get back to your question. No. Well, maybe we could. Yes, very poorly. I can't speak the local language, which is Shangaan, very well, unfortunately. I try my absolute best. Have a look at this though. I have to stop and show you the beautiful sunrise. It is magical. So yes, I do try just every now and then, but most of the time, to be honest, I'll just speak English on the radio. It depends. So if Herbie speaks a little bit of Shangani to me on the radio, then I normally try and reply, but I normally end up, I never just resort to just English. And out here in the northern Sabi Sands, they don't seem to be too strict. Down in the south, you were not allowed to speak English on the radio. It was just company policy for the various, or for the lodge that I worked at. You had to use the local terms, and it was actually part of a test before you can become a guide, or before you can go out on safari with guests, is that you must be able to know all the different animal names and various terms, sort of just sentences, in the local language. Otherwise, you had to stay behind. So I'm still getting out of that that old habit. Now, as James says that unfortunately, with the guides, we don't seem to learn the language properly, which is 100% true. And I'm actually quite happy that I don't want to be one that butchers the language. I would try and learn it as best as I could, but I'm from the Eastern Cape, so I know isiXhosa a little bit better than will do Shangani, and slightly different. There's a lot of clicks in the Xhosa language. Right, let's carry on, but a beautiful sunrise nonetheless. I suppose we had to show it, seen as though this is the sunrise safari, and the last couple of mornings, well, no, yesterday morning there was a decent sunrise. Yeah, let's have a look. I'm just going to concentrate again. This road is lovely and sandy. Weaver's Nest is always a good road to try and track on. But I haven't heard the alarms of any animals. The only animal that I've heard alarming so far this morning were the go-away birds. Like I said, quite close to the drainage line. And that's sort of where I had their last tracks. So I wonder if they maybe actually didn't go further east. Let me chat to Herbie and see what he says. Herbie. Herbs, there's absolutely nothing so far this side. Do you not think that they maybe went further east, maybe even further south towards Cheetah cut line? So I think Herbie's just chatting away now. Okay, copy. Thanks, Herb. I think I'm going to go and check Treehouse Dam very quickly and see maybe if they didn't head that way. I haven't got any more tracks though. Okay, so we're working on a plan. Herbie says he's going to go further east and make sure and check that side. He agrees. He says he could have quite easily missed their tracks in the sand. The sand can be quite difficult in a riverbed to try and actually see what was going there, especially if it was dogs running, which is the speed at which wild dogs normally go. They very rarely walk. They're always going so quickly. And then the other thing is that they could possibly come down towards Alice, please can you repeat just what you said? I couldn't understand. I'm just waiting for Alice. There we go. That's right. Just trying to figure out what Alice was saying, but I could hear it there. It seems as though the Mara is up and up and running, and Miss Jamie Patterson with a big grin on her face is waiting to say hello. Good morning and welcome to another beautiful morning out here in the Masai Mara. Starting off with a herd of, how many would you say, Dave? 200? 200 or so buffalo. My name is Jamie. This morning Dave is on camera with me and Brent is sleeping in, and we get to go on our first solo drive around the Mara. I'm so excited. Don't forget to send through your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter. It's an amazing thing that we can jump all the way from South Africa here to Kenya and experience all different aspects of African wildlife. I just saw something happen behind that termite mound that I'm a little bit confused by. You'll see there's a lot of young calves with this particular herd, and I just saw, out of the corner of my eye, it was so quick and so fleeting, I just saw a buffalo throw a calf right up into the air and over her back. And that happens quite a lot with buffalo. Ooh, a little bit of upsetness. Just there on the left, they've stopped now. Upsetness is not a word, but we'll go with it. It happens quite regularly with young calves. They get confused and they go to the wrong mum, or attempt to suckle from a buffalo bull, which is never positively received, and they often get thrown up into the air, legs waving. But that's the first time I've ever seen a baby somersault over a buffalo's back, and I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. I hope the little one's okay. Can't see it though. So we'll just sit here for now and wait and see whether or not it pops out. And then the plan from there is to go and search for our baby elephant from yesterday. It was such an amazing experience, seeing that little elephant taking its very first steps. Brent was busy chatting away just so that we could actually show it all to you at a later stage, but I was sitting glued to my binoculars. And then who knows what other things we might find. The buffalo here are so much bigger than they are in South Africa. The buffalo bulls in particular, although the cows are too. They're probably, I would say, about 200 kilograms heavier on average, which is over 200 pounds. These things are enormous. And then Dave, actually, if we look, I was going to say, let's have a look and see, but it's flown away. Bird's flown away, and we are going to move on. So while we do, let's see whether or not Taylor, back in Djuma, has had any luck with the wild dogs. I'm so sorry, I just need 2 seconds on the Game Drive radio to try and figure out what's actually going on this morning. Sorry, Lex, please can you repeat your message? Oh, wow, that's a tree. I keep forgetting that the elephants have blocked this road off. Herbie's laughing at me now. There we go. So I was just listening to what... Right. Sorry, now the Game Drive radio is getting out of hand. So we're going to turn that off. Right, so Herbie and I, we're working as one team today. Basically, it's like I'm being towed by Herbie all over again. So I'm going to tell him that he can go because he's a better tracker than I am. Herbie, you can go in front. You're a much better tracker than me. So, sorry about that. So Lex is going to continue searching for these dogs, but I have a feeling that they crossed through the Mulwati when we heard those go away birds calling, but they didn't go on Mamba. They were sort of running between the fire break on Gowrie Main and Mamba in that thick block. So I think that they're probably around there, but there are some very fresh lilacs moving around here from area that Herbie and I are driving in, so it would be nice if we could find it. I think if Herbie's gonna go there, let's drive on the fire break. I think he's trying to figure out, no, I think Herbie's gonna jump on the Game Drive radio. Is it quiet? Are there people talking? Oh, there we go. So he's going to find that update out from Lex. So we'll just drive here and see what else we can find. So like I said, Herbie's a keen tracker. He's been tracking since he was a young boy, starting off looking for things, looking for goats and cows and his dogs and anything that may have been around and small that he could have tracked, and eventually ending on tracking lions and elephants and rhinos and buffalo and all these amazing creatures that we get to see in the Sabi Sad. So that's quite cool. I wish that I had started tracking my dogs and things like that, my cats when I was growing up, or even horses when they would disappear in the big paddocks. That probably would have been the best way to try and figure out where they'd gone. Now I'm not sure what lions or things are moving around at the moment, but we'll have to just see what we can find. Now Stevie, you said that it still looks cold. It's actually not too bad. I could take this big jacket off that I have now. I actually don't even need my scarf, that can come off. I don't have gloves on my fingers this morning. So it's warmed up again. Today is supposed to be particularly hot, and then we're supposed to get a cold spell, which is obviously from this horrific storm that has hit the western coast of South Africa. So that's obviously, you've seen all the pictures and things. It's really quite terrible. There's massive fires in Knysna. There's even fires in my hometown, Port Elizabeth, but they're not as big as Knysna. The whole of little town of Knysna is being evacuated, which is very, very, very sad. It's a beautiful little, like a fishing village, if you will, but a very smart, quaint place. I've been there on many, many holidays. The holiday destination, really. They have big oyster festivals and things like that, so it's so sad to think that all those houses are burning down. Yes, it is just very sad. Let's just hope that some big rains by some miracle come over that area and put those fires out. So yeah, we'll see, and we'll also try and see if we can find some animals. Hey Senzo, I don't know. I have my lucky beans that Ali gave me. They're in my pocket. They seem to work really well for her. Whether they're going to work for me, I'm not sure. But no lion tracks yet. Let's go here. Let's see. No lion tracks here either. I wonder where they've gone. Let's just go back. Maybe we're gonna bump into Herbie again. I did see a set of male tracks walking along one of the roads I was driving, that southern road from Treehouse Dam, because I had a look around there and there was nothing. So I hope they haven't already crossed into Little Gowrie, which is most certainly a possibility. Actually, let me go into the Eastern Channel. Let's hear what the guys in the East have to say. Morning stations, can anybody copy me? Oh. No, I think I heard a whole lot of people. Morning, can you guys give me an update for the East? Have you guys located any Ngala? Let's do that. No, I can hear. I haven't learned how to speak that language yet. This must be a new one here. Just check these tracks out. I think they're hyenas though. Elephant tracks from last night. No, these guys are trying to talk to me, but I cannot understand a word that they're saying. Right, so we're just going to have to go back to our original plan then. And this is the art of tracking though. Because obviously the animals leave footprints on the ground, and then it's up to us to try and figure out what exactly has gone on in the night. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than what you think. I've just seen some hyena tracks going up and down the road here. No lion footprints just yet, and we are approaching Shibamo. Oh, I think I can see Herbie's out of a car now. He's decided he's going to walk, and that's what he does best. More hyena tracks here. Now as we're driving about, Chris, you're wondering if I have seen the new lion, the little new tiny lion cub. I haven't. Ali has seen it and we have not seen it since then. We suspect what has happened, and I thought this was going to happen. That cub is very young. to have been introduced to the pride. So I think it was just a coincidence. Perhaps the Ngumas were passing by. Amber Eyes, having the strong bond with the other females, came out as well. And these are still hyena tracks. And she obviously just brought her little one out and said, well, hello, here we go. But she has gone off again. I don't think she's back with the pride, because I could hear a lioness calling and calling yesterday morning while we were on bushwalk, just in the drainage line. So I think she's in there somewhere, and I haven't seen any more lioness tracks coming out, though I don't know if anybody has checked that side this morning. If she is back denning with that cub, we're going to zone that area. We're not going to view her and her cub on her own. We'll let them carry on. Like I said, that cub should not be out in the open just yet. It can move around, but Mom is still relying on picking it up and moving it most of the time. So she might keep it in a den for a little bit longer, a few weeks longer, and once the actual introduction to the pride happens, then we'll be able to view that little one properly. But again, if she is with the pride with her youngster again, we'll have to keep our distance, and hopefully we'll be able to, of course, find her. Here are the leopard tracks they cross out. We must have just missed this cat. Yeah, this young leopard has just walked here. She's just gone over Herbie's tracks. Can you believe that? Right, I'm going to quickly call this in on the Eastern Channel. I'm going to send you across to Ali, who is bumbling about in the bush.
Seems like the gremlins that followed Jigga around are scared of Tingana. Because as soon as we managed to get in here, everything seemed to be fine. Isn't this meant to be? Hello. From what we've seen from the night, well, Tingana's not too far from the tree where he tried to hoist that warthog yesterday. We actually could only just see the stomach contents of the warthog lying on the floor. So I'm sure the rest of the kill is here somewhere, but we've pretty much just arrived. So I'm sure he'll show us at some point where he's keeping the rest of the warthog. And although it was a pigling, I think there was quite a lot of meat in there for him to have a look at. To have a bite. So I'm sure he's got the rest somewhere around here. But it seems like maybe he's been having a tough night trying to balance that kill on top of that marula. I don't think it was the easiest marula were to leave a kill up there, but maybe he did manage to finish it. We're gonna go on exploring a little later. It seems like for now he is very happily asleep. And what a game of patience it was yesterday. I still can't believe it. You know, this is probably why these animals are so successful, and if I were a leopard, I would probably die, because I don't think I've got the patience that Tingana showed to have yesterday. I mean, just on top of the termite mound for hours, and he knew that a warthog was deemed to come in there. So I wonder if when the other one didn't run off yesterday, that didn't give away the position of some more warthog, because we could hear some more squealing and other noises. So maybe he knew all along what his plan was going to be. Stevie, you say that he is beautiful. Well, he is a very stunning male leopard. He looks very healthy, especially yesterday when we just first saw him and I saw some of those screenshots of him in that golden light. I mean, it just gives you that idea of a very powerful creature, doesn't it? More like a kitty cat right now. But we've also got to be able to see the soft side of wildlife every now and again. I think yesterday he pretty much gave us every visual of what a leopard can be. Regal and, you know, atrocious and powerful and magnificent and sleepy and too many things all together. And, well, this is how they spend the day after. If he's still got a bit of the kill somewhere around here that he's stashed away somewhere, maybe in the thick bush, because I can't see anything else up in the tree, likely he'll carry on feeding around here. And also we're not too far away from one of the dams, from Treehouse Dam, so I'm sure if whenever he's feeling a bit thirsty, all he has to do is walk a little 5-minute walk and then come back, and then he'll be back on the kill. So he's actually chosen a very good spot, and I wonder how many times he's actually been hunting out here and known about all of these termite mounds that are a potential, you know, spot for him to catch his next meal. think it was a bit overwhelming, that little piglet running around, and it was, we just didn't see the takedown, because I know somebody was asking me about it yesterday. We didn't see him take the animal down, but we just saw him running, and then all of a sudden there was a lot of squealing, and very typical warthog squealing. So we imagined that he had definitely caught one of them, and well, eventually we managed to see him with the spotlight and found him suffocating this poor tiny little piglet. Robert, you're wondering why leopards take their kills up trees. They do it in this particular area to avoid competition. So there are lots of other predators around, other leopards, other lions, but especially hyena, that are very good at hearing this kind of things in the dark, the squealing of the piglet and perhaps the crunching of the bones, and they always come and investigate to see what's happening. So they'll put it up the trees to try and prevent other predators from stealing the kill that they have made. I mean, yesterday it took him we were watching him for about 2 hours before he decided to make a move, and I think he got lucky. He obviously knew what was going on, but there was also luck factor into his whole movements yesterday. But if not, can you imagine, they can go for hours and hours on end without actually bringing anything down. Julian, you're saying that we should look at that camouflage. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? If we look at it from a bit of a distance, you can see just the ear twitching is pretty much what gives it away. Other than that, you can just see the grass, and that is precisely why leopards have the spots and the colors that they've got. I mean, if you look at that, where is the leopard? We know where to look at, but can you imagine how easy it would be to walk around here or even drive and not see anything? Incredible. Perhaps he does wake up and take us back to the kill, but in the meantime, let's go to my dear friend Jamie tomorrow.
And here we are with a herd of elephants. It's not my herd. I've been closely examining each and every single elephant ear to try and see, because I did take note of the female that we saw, and I've been checking every elephant's ear, which of course for each and every elephant has a unique sort of setup of notches and sort of triangles or V's or cups out of them. And it's definitely not her herd, but there are some truly massive females in this group. The tusks on some of these elephants are enormous here. The females especially, I've noticed. They seem to have really, really long tusks. I mean, there's a female at the back, a little bit further off to the left. There she is. Oh, of course she went. Yes, that one. The one that went behind the other elephant, as I mentioned her.
There we go.
There we go, girl. That's a female. She's really got incredibly long tusks. And whilst there are a couple of little ones as well, it's not our herd. And I'm thinking that last night with a wobbly tiny new baby, I'm thinking they might not have moved too far away. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up with them and find them. But for now, this is a really very peaceful way to spend a morning. It goes to show just how long the grass here is at the moment, when baby elephants disappear almost completely. And good morning to Stanley times 3. You want to know how is the baby elephant doing? Hopefully we'll actually be able to find it at some point. I got quite worried yesterday just because it took that little one so long to finally find its feet. And in the beginning stages when we were sitting watching it, because we saw her kicking it, and I started to worry that it wasn't moving. We didn't see any movement from it for quite a considerable period of time. And then all of a sudden this little tail stuck up.
And it kept, I mean, the whole standing up process was mostly done bottom first. The bottom kept going up into the air, and then the front legs just weren't working quite as well as the back legs. And there was one point where it actually fell over and it rolled right over, legs in the air. It was adorable. And Mom looked stressed in the beginning, and then she calmed down. But the whole process, what amazed me about it, because it wasn't what I expected. In an open area just like this, but with even less grass and even less cover, the whole herd left her. Except for one young elephant. We were debating whether or not it was her older daughter, or if perhaps it was just a curious young elephant that perhaps wanted to see what was going on. But the whole herd left her to go through that whole process alone, out in the open. I've no doubt if she screamed, if she gave a call of alarm, if lions came through or hyenas came through, they would have come to rescue her. But it was unexpected, because everything I've known about elephants made me expect them to sort of surround her and protect her in the way you see those. I mean, it's my first ever proper elephant birth. With the videos that I've watched, it always seems as though the rest of the herd is there to comfort her. But it wasn't like that at all in this case. So I'm not quite sure. There's so much still that we don't understand about these amazing animals. She's a very old girl. Hey? Beautiful. Look at those tusks. Robert, I don't think I've observed enough to actually answer your question yet. I know Brent's actually mentioned this female before, with the one very long tusk, but Robert wants to know, how does the tusk length of the females compare to the males? I've seen some big elephant bulls, but I wouldn't say that I haven't noticed how much larger their tusks are, whereas with the females, they do seem to be so much larger than the ones that we see on Djuma. It's just a small observation. The males that I've seen have been pretty much equivalent. And yes, of course, this area is also famous for having some big elephants, but Kruger actually apparently has some of the largest elephants in the world. But it seems to me that the elephant female tusks are just that little bit larger here, noticeably larger actually. Obviously that's genetic, so not all of them will have massive tusks. And Sassy B, you say these elephants are massive. Their tusks are massive. I'm not sure if there's that much of a difference in body size, but to be honest, I find comparing things here really tricky, because I can't quite tell. There's no comparison. It's so open, and it's very difficult to compare in terms of size. Okay, our elephants are wandering off, and of course Ali, the cat lady of Djuma, is sitting with her leopard.
Well, it seems like Tingana was very nicely asleep, but there's an impala not too far from where we are, and he raised his head all of a sudden. The impala's still in between the bushes, so we can just almost hear the ears flicking in between the bushes, but definitely got his attention. I mean, look at him. You don't stop surprising us, do you? And just the sheer size of his neck. I mean, he is something incredible. He is very big. Oh, maybe some traces of blood here and there. Somebody hasn't been grooming properly. Naughty. Maybe, no? Are you still too full from the warthog? I think maybe he might just not act upon this impala that's not too far from him, just because he's got a full belly and he seems to be quite sleepy. But if the impala were to come closer, then who knows? We've also known that he knows how to play his cards very well, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just waited for pretty much anything to come up to him. What else are you listening? Catherine, you say that it looks like he still wants to eat. I think so. Well, he's definitely, and it's a very basic instinct that whenever they see a potential prey species, you know, something kicks in them and they pay attention. He might not do anything about it, because I mean, he had a good meal last night, but who knows, perhaps this afternoon he'd be ready to start moving again. Although he's looking quite intently in that direction, so I wonder if maybe the kill or whatever it is that is left, if there's anything left, is in that potential direction. We didn't see any antelope over there, although Seb mentioned seeing some waterbuck. Kylie, you're wondering if leopards can get hiccups. I don't know. I've never seen a leopard or a dog with hiccups, so I'm not too sure if wild leopards can get hiccups. But it would be an interesting thing to try and find out. Can you imagine Tingana trying to climb up a marula and then, you know, and just not being able to do it properly because he can't stop with the hiccups? I reckon that'll be something to see. But sorry, I don't know if they do get hiccups. I don't know if animals in general get hiccups. It's something that I've never thought about, but I will definitely try and find out for you. What are you looking at? Steph, you are 12, all the way from Texas, and you'd like to know if Tingana would run away if wild dogs were to come around. Well, we were hoping that maybe the wild dogs would carry on coming around thing. If wild dogs were to jump, or not jump, if bump into Tingana around this area, I'm sure there would be some sort of dispute and altercation between all of them. Tingana is very big. I dare say he is probably bigger than all of the wild dogs, or every individual wild dog, and I'm sure he wouldn't go down without a fight. I'm sure the wild dogs would also feel a bit threatened because leopards are stronger than them in general terms. But I think if it got a bit too bad for him, likely he would all he would have to do is just climb a tree and then he would be out of harm's way. We were actually thinking about the same thing, and we were wondering if maybe they would come around and just smell the kill and try to steal that from him. Gonna sit with him a while longer, see if perhaps he gets up to something, but let's go over to Taylor, and who's still busy looking for all the wild dogs.
Nope, and I've stopped searching for those wild dogs quite a while ago now. We've moved on to other things. I've got some exciting news for you though. Right, so there's much commotion going on the property in terms of lion and leopard tracks. You've obviously watched Tingana, and now, oh hang on, now Lex is trying to get hold of me. Standing by. Let's talk to Lex. Just 3. Apparently it was the breakaway, one of the breakaway packs. You know, Lex, sometimes they run sort of just south of Mamba, cross the drainage, the Mulwati, and then go towards Leadwood, and then straight into Chitwa. I know that they've done that about 3 or 4 times. I wonder if they're not just following the same route. There's no tracks west of Treehouse Dam of those dogs. Copy. I haven't heard anything on the eastern channel of them spotting any dog tracks, so that you're probably right, they might still be in Torchwood. Good luck. Right, so just quickly sorting that out. Lex is still following up on the dogs. He's trying to figure out, just asking what is their normal route. But the good news that I have for you is I just picked up on Shadow's tracks with her little cub. How exciting is that? So I showed Herbie the tracks, and he says he thinks that she's made a kill somewhere on the property, because her tracks walk up first and come up this Philemon's cut line on her own, and then she fetches the cub. We're actually quite close to the hyena den, and then you see her and the cub tracks walking back. But now we're not exactly sure where she's gone. So Herbie's going to check Rebecca's road and we're going to check Zoe's road and sort of do a loop around them, because we didn't see any tracks crossing out the property yet. So she might just be in this little quadrant around here. But that's really exciting, because we've been wondering, of course, if her little one was still alive. And I had that amazing sighting with Shadow all to myself, where she was carrying the scrub hare around, taking it back to her little one. So we knew, of course, that there was a young cub. She wouldn't carry a scrub hare for that long. But now we've got confirmation. The tracks are around, and Herbie laughed. He says, I promise, Taylor, this time they're not civet tracks. Very exciting. But Ali is still sitting with the king of Djuma. And it'll be, well, I think very nice if you head back across to him and see what he's up to.
Well, he's playing tricks on us now, because we got all excited because he got up and he was looking at the impala out in the distance, and we were like, oh, maybe he's going to try and do it again. And then we saw his big, fat, full, round belly. So I think he's maybe not in the mood to do a lot of exercise at the moment. He is looking very full, in case anybody was wondering. And we can just see the belly over there. So very, very nice, big and round. We were actually laughing because he seems to be in a bit of a hole. And I wonder if he chose the hole precisely because his belly fits in so perfectly. Oh my goodness. But he's got that look, don't you guys think? That look that he's considering all his options. Chatty Megan, you're wondering if he's listening to me. I have no doubt that he can hear me, and he's perfectly aware of the fact that we're here. But I don't think we are of any interest to him. So it's, you know, when you're listening maybe to the radio and you hear just that noise in the background, but you don't really pay attention because it doesn't really bother you. I think that's perhaps what's happening with him now. He knows we're here, but his ears are twitching where all of the animal movements are, wherever there's frankeling, alarm calling, or where the impala went off running. And we thought we heard maybe lions in the distance, but I can't really tell. So he's definitely searching for something, because he's got that very determined look, and I wonder what it is that he's thinking. I wish we could know. It would be pretty amazing. But yeah, I think the animals, they just learn to block our noises and our scent out, and they're like, ugh. You know, it's just like a bad song on the radio that you don't pay attention to. Yeah, I thought I heard a lion, but it's actually a car. I think my hearing is not that good this morning. I wonder, are you looking at more impala there, mister? Chris, well, you are wondering if he swallowed the entire warthog whole. I've just got an image in my head that you think that maybe he did it like a python and he opened his mouth and then all of the warthog is sitting inside. That would not happen. They have to take bites out of the animal, out of the warthog, to be able to eat it. So I don't know if he ate all of it, and if that's what you meant. I think he could have. I mean, we just saw the stomach contents lying on the ground on the tree or the marula where he was in yesterday. But normally leopards and lions have a very specific way of eating. I mean, if they can do it calmly, you'll see that fursuers start licking the skin to try and remove some of the skin, and then they'll try to cut it, and that's when they're, you know, will do that bit of a crazy head tilt and then start cutting through the skin to then get to the bony part. And then they'll eat pretty much everything that's inside. They will not eat the tusks or the hooves, or probably not a lot of bone either, not as much as hyenas would. It's definitely looking at something, but I don't know what it is from here. Look at that face. Cody, you are wondering if perhaps he feels threatened with the car here. No, not at all. If he were, he would have already moved away, and with leopards it becomes a bit obvious perhaps in other areas. The leopards that we see here on Djuma and in some areas of the greater Kruger Park, they are so used to the cars and they don't feel threatened by them at all. So we are also not on top of him. We're giving him a safe distance, a distance that he can feel comfortable in. If we were to get too close to him, perhaps he wouldn't like it and he would run away or give us a bit of a growl. But you see, he's not even really looking at us. He's more intent watching whatever it is that is happening in the natural environment, which is what we want. We prefer for them to ignore them and just pretty much pay no attention to us. But I think there's an antelope or something. Oh my goodness, it's another warthog. No, it's very hard to see it. I just saw the mane of the warthog in the grass in quite far distance. I haven't been able to see it again. Maybe Tingana hasn't had enough. Could be that this is, it looks like a youngster, perhaps some of the piglets, some of the brothers of the warthog he got yesterday. Are you after the whole family now? That's not nice. No. I'm sorry as it's such ugly things about you. I think he's definitely not interested, but we know now it was a little warthog running around. Kylie, you're wondering if leopard claws get blunter over time. Well, they carry on growing throughout their lives, but yeah, they do get blunter, and especially it's quite obvious with their canines, their big teeth. As they start getting older, well, they start wearing down, so a lot of the times you'll see that perhaps they'll be missing the tip, or they won't be as sharp as they were when they were younger. But also a lot of the times what leopards do is they'll try to sharpen them, so they'll go up against trees and then they'll start, almost like a cat does on a scratching post, and they'll start doing that against the tree. Can definitely tell that I don't think Tingana's claws or canines are doing too bad. I'm just so impressed by how healthy he looks. It's like definitely one of the bigger leopards I have seen. Look at all those little flies. I'm sure somebody's not happy. Yeah, you didn't groom properly, so that's why you've got flies on your face. I think maybe what he was doing was just probably put his head in where there was a bit of meat, perhaps a bit of blood, and that's what the flies are being attracted to. Oh, are you done? Look at that belly. Look how full he looks. Alright, sorry Alice, if you don't mind repeating that question. Kristen, you're wondering if the flies don't disappear over winter. We definitely don't get as many as we do during the summer, but they'll still live in some of the dung around all of this area. So their numbers would be a lot lower, but there'll always be tiny little flies carrying on, especially animals when they make a kill or following some of the herbivores. Lots of the times buffalo carry lots and lots of them, zebras as well. And I think in this particular case, we're just in the change of season, so there's more of them flying around. And I do think that he's got little pieces of meat or perhaps even blood, on his face, and that's why we can see so many of them. Seems like the sleepy king has decided that this is a comfort spot for the day. Let's go over to Taylor in the meantime and see how her search for wildlife is going.
Ali, your lucky beans are not working. I think maybe all the magic has already been used out of them. So please may I have some more? So our latest development is I found where Shadow has come from. I haven't found Shadow yet. Let's have a look at that beautiful bird that's just landed just next to the car. It's a beautiful crested barbet in the most gorgeous light, and it's feeding on some berries at the moment. Now I'm not exactly sure which berries it could be. because it was sitting in a young leadwood, but I think it's from the guarri trees that are surrounding it. Hello, beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? They really are nice birds, and just a quick view of them, normally as it is. So last night while we were doing the school drive, I got out and I showed everybody some tracks, and I will answer that in a moment. Alright, and the question from Bobby, and that question was, is, do I set an alarm or do I wait for the birds to wake me? It's a combination of both. As soon as I put my light on, the buffalo weavers that live in the fever tree outside my room wake up. So then they start calling, and then it's quite difficult to, of course, to go to sleep when they're quite chatty birds, and most of you have heard, especially if you watch the dam cam, you'll hear them all the time. So no, I set an alarm, but I normally wake up probably anywhere between half an hour, 20 minutes before my alarm goes off, my internal body clock. Though we're able to sleep quite late now, which is strange. So this morning I was up at just before 4 o'clock, and I got up and I got myself a glass of water, and then I just went back and laid in bed and I read a book for a little bit. And I actually heard someone else's alarm going off, which I was laughing at, because I thought, who on earth is waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Because we only everyone normally only gets up at 5, well, is up at 5:30. So I actually still need to figure out at breakfast whose alarm that was going off, because it made me laugh. I was like, that's keen. That's someone really ready to get the day started. I'm sure they would have snoozed their alarm 150 times though. So what I wanted to tell you was, last night, you may remember me getting out when we were doing the school drive, and I was showing some elephant tracks, but I'd spotted leopard tracks coming out of the property and then going west across Triple M. And now I had some more female leopard tracks actually going along the Impala Plains Road, but back towards the Balanites tree. So that's exciting. So we know that Shadow has come from Arathusa side. She's gone back here, probably looking for something, and her little cub has been stashed on the property the entire time. She is so good at hiding her little girl, and now she's back, of course, with it. Herbie's still following up. He said that he heard some birds alarming between Rebecca's Road, Philemon's Cut Line, and Zoe, so somewhere in there. So that's where we're going to be looking now. I said to Herbie though I would just very quickly come and check the last little stretch of Triple M, just to make sure she didn't sneak her one during the night or early this morning all the way across here, because that little one's, she's not tiny anymore. She must be almost 6 months old, somewhere around there, so she is able to travel a decent distance at her mom's side, of course. So it wouldn't surprise me if she had moved it a fair sort of distance, but we'll see. Hopefully our luck is going to turn, and we're going to find something. Here we go. Here's our first mammal for the day. Hello Impala, don't run away please, because we haven't seen mammals. We've just saw one crested barbet and they're gone. Right, off those Impala go. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to try and turn my luck around with the animals. Yes, I don't know what I've done wrong to deserve all of this. It's very saddening. Well, it might not be saddening for you, but it's definitely saddening for me. But anyways, we'll keep searching, we'll keep persevering and trying, and hopefully our luck will of course change. Ellie's still with Tingana. I'm sure she's enjoying all the spots at the moment. She had a lack of spots for quite some time, so let's go across to her, make sure she's not having an overdose of Tingana.
Well, how could you overdose on any of those beautiful cats? Somebody's gone up. Oh, are you gonna take us back to where you hid the rest of the warthog? Alright. No, he's just chosen a different spot. Okay, we're gonna try and what do you think in there, Sam? I think maybe that's the spot to try and go to. I see, and this is probably the reason why you never get tired of seeing wildlife, because you're like, oh my god, we've been waiting here for a little bit and he's just gotten up, and then all of a sudden he gets up to move a little bit, and then there he is. My There we go. Hello. Andy and Julia and A, you're wondering if if vultures ever steal kills from leopards on trees. I've never seen it. I've seen vultures come down on the ground and steal kills from pretty much everything else. I think one of the reasons why leopards also hide their kills up trees, and if there's no tree around, a lot of the times they will try to cover it and just use grass, could be precisely to try and prevent some of the vultures or other creatures from getting to them. I don't know how a fight between a leopard and a vulture would be in a tree. It would be interesting to see if there are actually any records of this happening in the wild. I haven't heard of it, so I don't think if it does happen that is something that's very common. I mean, when vultures are flying around a particular area, they normally focus on the ground, and this is when they'll come down to try and feast on whatever it is that they've seen at the bottom. So if a leopard puts it up in the tree, even for a vulture, and if the tree's got a lot of branches and a lot of leaves, it's very hard for the vultures to actually spot the kill on the tree. I think more often than not what we find that comes to a leopard kill are hyenas. It would be quite interesting to see a battle in between them. I don't know if anyone's ever found a record of it. So it'd be quite interesting to go and maybe find out online later on. But it's definitely a thought. I mean, strange things happen out in the bush, and we never know what's going on. Pretty leopard. This would be a very cool thing to see from the sky, don't you guys think? Thinking that if you were a vulture flying around and then you would just see all the spots lying on the ground, I'm sure it would be a very cool view. All the way from the sky with the leopard lying pretty much underneath no tree, nothing in between them. I'm sure that would be the money shot. Would love to one day maybe fly over this whole area and see what it looks like and see what you can spot. I reckon probably not, we wouldn't see leopards, but you know, in my imagination, if I could fly, maybe I would be seeing Tingana from the top. There are certain, the airstrips around this area, and sometimes we also have helicopters patrolling for anti-poaching purposes. Sometimes they come from the park, sometimes they're from the Sabi Sand, and animals don't seem to enjoy it too much. I think it's been good because we've had a ban pretty much nothing can... Oh, there's a massive warthog there. I think this might have been the big male that he was trying to hunt. He's just behind some bushes now. No, I can't see him. No, I can't see him either. I think he's just behind that green. Because I think what happened last night as well is that they all went back into that burrow. Oh, he's coming out towards the right. Towards the mount. Okay. There we go. I'm sure this was the same male he was hoping would come into the burrow yesterday. Maybe it's even the same one that I saw earlier on. Oh. Are you the king of patience as well? Because he could very well just spend the whole day around here, because he knows that there's food not too far from where he is. There's water also not too far from where he is. So all he's got to do is pretty much wait. Or maybe wait to digest and then wait. Is it too much effort? Dylan, you're wondering if he's got a mate or if he's a bachelor. Well, He's one of the most eligible bachelors, if I can put it that way. Leopards, they don't mate with just one female, and they don't necessarily bond, the male leopards, with one particular female. So they will have a few different females that will live within his territory. And he will try to mate with as many of them as he can, just to try and spread his genes as much as he can. So it's not a monogamous relationship. They won't even spend too much time with the females. They'll likely just find a female that's in heat or ready to mate with her for a few days, and then go off. Sometimes in this area, because the Sabi Sands is a bit of an unusual place with leopards, we will see them, males, somewhat socializing, if I can use that word, and I feel it's a bit strong of a word, with females and their youngsters. I have seen it before, but on a very few numbered occasions. I don't know if he was ever seen with some of the offspring he sired, but I know in another place where I used to work, we saw Anderson male leopard with the female and the cub he had sired, and there was no aggression in between them. Obviously it wasn't a happy family affair, but they were all quite happy. I think Taylor's luck might have changed. I think maybe I'm just going to have to make her a lucky bean necklace, but let's go over to her and see what it is that she's been able to find, or where she's heading.
Sorry everyone, I just have to ask Lex just to repeat his entire message. I'm so sorry, Lex. Final Control is just talking to me and I couldn't hear a word that you were saying. Please can I bother you to repeat that message again? Do you have tracks or do you have the animals? Okay, copy. If I come, can I please come and join you? I'm desperately searching for any cats. Just on Philemon's cat line. Excuse me. Wonderful, well done, thank you so much. And then just confirm I must come back sort of in the southerly direction towards you. Sorry. Copy, thank you very much, I'll see you shortly. Right, chasing after cats like you have absolutely no idea. We're going to go to some now. It seems as though Lex has picked up on 2 lionesses. I don't know if we're going to get there in time. They're on Gari Map at the moment. We've been driving circles around these animals, and this is the problem, of course, that we have in the summer months, is that everything is so thick you cannot see what's going on in the bushes. So I suspect that and her little one are in this block somewhere. I've checked Triple M, I've checked loads and loads of roads. There's none of their tracks coming out, so they must be just sitting in this thick stuff. And Herbie is checking, so I don't know if he's going to go in on foot or not. He might, otherwise he might just take the car in and just drive a couple of tracks. But these lionesses, I'm not sure exactly where they've come from. Because there were lots of lion tracks around Treehouse Dam. We drove the fire breaks, we drove Savage's track, Shibamu, the southern road to the dam, all these different places, but unfortunately nothing. So it just shows you safaris being at the right place at the right time. But we are going to drive a little bit quicker to get there because we're very far away. Over we go. So we just need to head down. I think they're past Twin Dams. Let's hope that we'll get there in time to see who it is. But I'm going to get racing over there to try and catch these girls and figure out which lionesses they are. But I'll send you back in the meantime with Ellie.
Yay, Taylor! So excited. I'm sure she will be able to get them. I'm just going to have to carry on collecting lucky beans and everything I can find that will bring us luck. because so far it seems like these animals have been so incredibly nice to us. I think they've been stunning, and I know this is very biased, but this is why I love winter. It seems the grass is a lot thinner, so we're able to find a lot more things and in an easier manner without having to go up and down, although we've been doing a lot of up and down, so maybe this is not really proving my point. I'm just very excited. And him is still quite sleepy. Oh boy. I think he's also going to start getting warm because the sun is definitely coming up and he is in a spot that's not shady whatsoever. So there are a few trees or shady spots around here, so I am hoping that maybe he'll go down for a drink of water. No. Rashni, you're wondering how cats deal with this light. Well, it's been quite a chilly morning and it was quite a chilly night. So I'm sure he's out here in the sun pretty much basking and enjoying the fact that he's warming up. Very quickly, however, it's going to start getting a bit too warm, and that's when we find maybe he will either go for a drink or he will move away into the shade and rest in the shade. Oh, you are stunning, aren't you? That was a perfect side profile for ID. Exquisite Bliss, you're wondering how long they can go without food. For a few days they can go without food. They don't really need to. They can survive. They're not like us that they will have to. Are you finding a more comfortable spot? So they don't have to eat every day like what we do. They've got a bit of a different feeding pattern. So when they do find food, like yesterday, they will gorge themselves and they will eat as much as they can. And sometimes it's been recorded that they can eat up to maybe 25% of their body weight, which can be up to sometimes maybe 15 kilograms of meat in one go. So that's why he's got that big fat round belly and he's walking, pretty much like this, almost like a penguin. And it's going to take him a bit to digest it. I would say today he will still be busy digesting it, and he would not have to eat today, let's put it that way. If he does, then that's an extra bonus, but he would be fine not to eat for the rest of the day and perhaps even for part of tomorrow. So it depends on what they manage to bring down. If they bring down something very big and they manage to eat it for a few days, then they'll be happy with that. If not, then like this one today, he pretty much finished everything, and in the next few days start going to look for something else. But we've seen now that there are different warthogs and little animals and impala moving around, so I'm sure that if there's a very good opportunity, he will not let it slip. Just one ear. Mita, you are 8 and you wonder if there are leopards in Venezuela where I'm from. No, we don't have leopards there. We have other species of cats. We have one that's very, very similar. It looks almost like this one. It's called a jaguar. Lives in a bit of different area, and the jaguars like the water and they will go in there and swim and start hunting animals that sometimes go swimming like crocodiles, but we don't have leopards. Jaguars are similar in the way that they look. It's almost like they're just a bit fattier, I would say. But no leopards where I'm from, so this is why this is so special. Beautiful to see a wild leopard, don't you think? Especially when they're still sleeping. Austin, you're wondering how someone determines the spot pattern of a leopard. Well, all leopards have individual markings. They're all different, so there are no two leopards that have the same markings, although they all might seem the same to us. But different different people look at for different things. So a lot of the times we will look at their faces and side profiles of their faces, just because it's a lot clearer, or maybe a shot of what the spots look like on their belly. So once you've got both sides of an animal, then you can ID it the next time you see it just by looking if the spots are the same. Actually, at one point, the thesis that I did for my master's was about camera traps and leopards. So I had to try and ID as many leopards as possible from this, this camera, as it take a shot as soon as they see or they gather some movement. And there was a lot of looking at spots, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes, because then you start picking up on little things, and your brain remembers things that you don't consciously remember. And I know that sounds quite funny, but you'll see a spot pattern and you'll be like, hang on a second, I have seen this before, like this is a leopard I know. And then you go and see them, and it's almost like humans, you will have we'll have a scar or little spots or little things, and then it's different things. We're gonna see if His Royal Highness decides to put his head up, but let's go over to Taylor and then see how she's faring with the cat search.
Unfortunately, I've got very sad news for you. I arrived at that lion sighting to meet 5 other vehicles. I removed myself. I'm not going to put any pressure on a cat sighting like that. There should only be a couple of cars in that sighting. It was on a boundary, so you can maybe push it to 4, but with me arriving and then being the 6th vehicle, I thought that that's probably not a very good idea, so I just pulled myself out that sighting completely. I cannot even tell you which lionesses they are. I just got the view of their rear ends, but they were between Weaver's Nest and Twin Dams, obviously just resting up in that block, and that's where we had all these tracks going around, which is really, really interesting. So again, it just shows you myself and Herbie and Lex and Tom had all been driving around in this area, searching, looking, driving around, and none of us were at the right place at the right time. Can you believe that? So they must have just sat down, probably having a break, and then they got up and started walking. Oh, who's talking to me? Let's quickly, it's Chania. Which station's looking for me? Let me just quickly. It's not a problem. Thanks very much, Patty. I'm going to put pressure. There's all the guys from the east that are coming into that sighting. There we go, just quickly letting them know that there's just too many people there, so we're not going to go there at all. So we'll just drive around and maybe we'll find some elephants or some impala. I'd be quite happy to look at any animal, to be honest. Right, let me just go out of that gear. And hopefully Herbie's going to have some luck and find little Shadow and, well, not Shadow and her little one. But let's see. So we drove past Chele Pan earlier this morning, and there were just the tracks of the wild dogs. So maybe if we go past there now, if those dogs had run past, they could have scared a whole lot of animals away. And I have already checked the hyena den. So we'll try here, and then we'll go to Twin Dams, maybe stop at Vuyatela Dam, see if there's anything exciting happening at the watering hole, and then we'll probably check the sort of more north, an area that hasn't been driven this morning. Everybody's been in the south, so we shall move away from all the commotion. We'll go elsewhere. We'll go to quieter areas. Okay, let's have a look what we're gonna find. I'd be even happy to see some turtle doves having a drink this morning from Chele Pan. Even that would be quite nice. Right, we're almost there. Nothing at this little pan. This is off Pangolin track. Looks like maybe there were some animals, maybe some elephants yesterday, maybe some buffalo moving around in the mud. It does look quite churned up, but that seems to be it. Nothing there right now. Okay, check through here. Alright, I'm just about to come up to Chele Pan now. No sign of anything just yet. See if we can get a little bit closer to the dam or find a gap. There's Pan just in there. There's a hornbill. There's a red-billed hornbill just to the right hopping around. Now, Chatty Megan, you're wondering if a pan is a pond. Well, to me a pond sort of says that it is being filled up all the time, whereas a pan is created naturally. So it's not anything that we have created. It would have started off as something like a mud wallow, and eventually with the animals, the various animals coming in and rolling around and elephants digging, it makes it wider and wider. So typically a pan is something that is seasonal, so it's not pumped at all, and then created via a mud wallow that just gets really, really big. So no, I don't think that a pond is a pan. But there's a little hornbill just digging just down to the right, sort of where you are. It's just, there we go. You might be able to see it now. There you go. And it's flying away. Bye, birdie. I hope you find a tasty grasshopper to eat. It would have been nice if you could have caught one in front of us and we could have watched you eat it. There we go, landing in the long grass. Obviously, there wasn't any delicious insect snacks around this side, so it has moved through. Oh, you've got some friends. It doesn't only look like there are the hornbills. Who else is there? I don't know what bird that is. Maybe it's a Natal spurfowl or a Swainson. There we go. It's just disappeared into the long grass. And it just shows you, look how that bird just completely disappears. Yes, it looks like a Natal spurfowl that was moving around there. And we've got another Jurassic Park scene with just the grasses moving about. But if you look very, very carefully, there's actually an abundance of birds. Probably the rest of the family of that Natal spurfowl. Here we go. There we go. Mom's coming back. Oh, there are little ones too. Can you see that? Yeah, that's so funny. They got left behind, and then mom or dad had to come back and say, hurry up now, children, don't get lost in this long grass, it's a dangerous world out here. But we're going to go back to Ali now, who seems to have some sort of surprise hiding in the grass.
Well, it's a bit of a gruesome surprise, so if you're finding it a bit too harsh once I tell you what it is, maybe just look away for the next few minutes. Just thought it would be interesting to come and have a look. This is where the base of the tree where he had the kill, he's still busy sleeping away, and you see that's all the way where he plunked it up there. I'm sure he didn't manage to just keep it there. You see it's not the sturdiest of the marulas, but it was quite funny yesterday. He was walking away with his kill, and I think there are lots of other trees around here, bigger trees, but I think he was just like, oh, marula, yes, up I go. So it seems, I thought this was the stomach, but there seem to be other stomach contents around. So I'm not too sure if he maybe, if it's perhaps a different organ, because those are the stomach contents around there. So all of these little creatures, obviously in their stomach we will have grass and pretty much the shoots of and roots of trees and fruit and everything else, and the leopard will not eat that. Sometimes we can see them just nibbling, and the other cats as well, like the lions nibbling a bit on these green contents, because to almost support their diet. And if they're lacking a bit of gut bacteria, then this is why they will go and eat some of the contents. But like I said, I was dead certain that this was the stomach, but now I'm a bit confused because I see the stomach contents are outside, but this stomach doesn't seem to have been open yet. Or unless it's a bit of a different organ, and I'm not 100% sure. Maybe my warthog anatomy needs a bit of a cleanup. Lots of flies around. They're all on top of let's call it a stomach. I'm pretty sure this is a stomach, and I wonder if perhaps he didn't actually manage to bring down 2 piglets at some point last night, because they were running around and there was lots of commotion. So I don't know, could be. I think it's way too big to be a liver, which was my other guess, and way too big to be anything else, pretty much. Interesting. So you see, there are some things that they will eat, some things that they will not eat. like I said, of the things they don't eat if they have to, if they're not feeling particularly healthy, or if they feel like their system needs a bit more, then that's when they will go and eat some of this contents. But he will not come back here for this. And we were wondering if perhaps we could see maybe the hooves or the head or anything else, any other remnant of the kill around here, but it doesn't, that he consumed all of it around here. You can see he's been moving around here. I'm sure he's been lying somewhere around here. Definitely nothing else around here. So I was wondering, the rest.
Alice? Alright, well, it seems as though, sorry about that everyone, we've been chatting to Alice over Skype. We communicate to Djuma over the phone. We've stopped off at a herd of the different antelope that you see out here, one of which being the Thompson's gazelle, which I have to say are one of my new favorite creatures. They are absolutely bizarre looking. They're tiny. They're about half the size of an impala, I would say, or just a little bit over half the size of an impala. But it's their horns that I find so peculiar. They've got these long, strange-shaped horns. And the males obviously have quite a long set of horns, like this one. But it's another example out here of a female having horns as well. And this looks like it's a bachelor group, so I can't see any females at the moment. But they've got these tiny little spear-like horns that stick out of the top of their head. Most impressive, though, are the impala rams. Everybody told me that they were bigger, but I think it's something that you have to see in real life. I've seen pictures of them. I think it's something that you have to kind of get to see in real life before you get an idea of just how massive they are. Those horns are... It's actually really disconcerting when you're so used to South African impala to see them here with their massively wide horns. I would say they're double the size of our impala in South Africa. And that, of course, is because impala here, unlike ours, don't have a strict breeding season. So on Djuma, you've been watching the impala chase each other around, chase the females around. Here, they're basically on a testosterone high all year round. So they mate all year round, they give birth all year round. And that's created a situation where the males are... It almost looks as though they're basically impala on steroids. The males are massive. And everywhere you go, it's strange. Everywhere you go, you don't see the nursery groups. You just see impala of different ages. Cody, hello and welcome. Cody would like to know how long their antlers can grow. Well, first of all, Cody, here in Africa where we have antelope, we call them horns. And the reason that they're different is because... What have you all seen? Oh, I think they've just seen other Thompsons. The reason that they're different is because those horns are made of solid bone. So unlike antlers that can be shed every year, impala horns and antelope horns are made of solid bone surrounded by keratin. And this is as large as they get. This is a very, very big ram. This is as big as they're going to grow. I haven't had the opportunity to actually get up close and personal to these impala, but I reckon, sure, how long would I say that is? If you took it from the base of the horn to the tip, I would say that's about 70 centimeters, maybe even longer. Oh, you know what, they're banded mongoose. Ah, that's what they're looking at. I've been dying to get banded mongoose on camera, but the grass is so long here that it's really difficult. Now I can't see them anymore. Hold on, let me see if I can. I think they might go up onto the ridge. It's just this little sea of tiny animals that sort of flow through the grass. Come on, where have you gone? I need a pair of binoculars. Now, Claire, you'd like to know what my first impression was of the Mara. space. It's space like I can't even begin to describe. And with that comes a sort of a sense of freedom and being right out in the open and in the wilderness. I think that would be how I would describe it. My first impression of the Mara has just been indescribable in a way. And we're going off in search of a cheetah, apparently, if I could understand where we are and what's going on. While we do that, Taylor has found a completely different species of giraffe.
Jamie, I'm throwing lucky beans all the way from South Africa that you find the fastest cat in the world. That'll be super exciting to see a cheetah. I know I haven't seen one for quite some time, but we haven't quite found a cheetah, but I suppose they're a similar colour, but we've gone from, hopefully, Jamie finding the fastest cheetah, fastest animal in the world, to finding the tallest one, and that is of a beautiful big male giraffe. Now, just as we look at it from this angle, you might be able to see some fences, some deck chairs, maybe even a swimming pool, and that's just because we're right outside Vuyatela Lodge on Djuma Private Game Reserve. We might even hear the staff waking up and getting ready for their day. Oh my goodness, is that giraffe blind in one eye? Did you all see that? I think we need to get another position. I have a feeling that that giraffe is missing its eye. Did you see that, Senzo? Let's see, he's going to walk out past these peltiforums now, these African wattles, and we're going to have another look. That is something I have not seen before. Right, let's reposition. Let's follow him. Now, we've just got to turn around very quickly.